Hello friends, today we are going to discuss regarding treatment of hypertension. Treatment of hypertension is based on three core principles. Number one, risk reduction, not just blood pressure reduction. Number two, organ protection, that is protection of heart, brain and kidneys. Number three, to ensure adherence to therapy with minimal side effects. Now, there are two pillar approaches. Number one, lifestyle modification that decreases sympathetic drive and insulin resistance. Number two, drug therapy, which decreases vascular resistance, volume, and RAS. Now, we will come to lifestyle modification. It is the first line of therapy and it should be used all the patients of hypertension. Number one, salt reduction. The salt intake should be less than 5 grams per day. So when there is a salt reduction, then it will lead to decreased plasma volume and decreased cardiac output. Number two, weight reduction. So each 1 kg of weight loss, it may decrease 1 mmHg of blood pressure. Number three, regular physical activity. So brisk walk for 30 to 45 minutes per day is recommended. Then dietary modification. So there is DASH protocol. So diet which is rich in calcium, magnesium and potassium, and one should avoid saturated fats. And finally, avoid alcohol and smoking, as smoking increases vascular tone and alcohol increases blood pressure variability. Now, when should we start therapy? So, if the blood pressure is more than 140 by 90 mmHg in all patients. However, in selected categories, for example, if the patient happens to have diabetes mellitus, CAD or CKD, then the threshold is 130 by 80 mmHg. So if the blood pressure is more than 130 by 80 mmHg, then we should start treatment in such patients. Now, we will go through the various antihypertensive which are used in order to control blood pressure. Coming to first line therapy or core antihypertensive. Number one, ACE inhibitors. So ACE inhibitor may include ramipril and enalapril. They inhibit the conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2, thereby decreasing vasoconstriction and aldosterone. They are mainly used in diabetes mellitus, CKD, LV dysfunction and heart failure. They may have certain side effects, for example, dry cough, angioedema or hyperkalemia. Number two, angiotensin receptor blocker. Angiotensin receptor blocker may include losartan or telmisartan. They block angiotensin 2 receptor directly. There is no bradykinin and hence no cough. They are used when the patient cannot tolerate ACE inhibitors. Number three, calcium channel blockers. So, calcium channel blockers may include amlodipine. They inhibit calcium entry and decreases vascular smooth muscle contraction. They can be used in elderly individuals, in patients with isolated systolic hypertension and angina. However, they have certain adverse effects. For example, ankle edema, flushing or headache. Number fourth, thiazide diuretics. So, thiazide diuretics decreases sodium, which will decrease plasma volume and ultimately cardiac output and blood pressure. They are used in elderly individuals and in volume dependent hypertension. They have certain side effects like hyperuricemia and hyperglycemia. Then there are certain other antihypertensive which are used as a second class antihypertensive. For example, beta blockers, which may include metoprolol. They decrease heart rate and decrease renin. They are used in post-MI, arrhythmias, and heart failure. Then spironolactone, aldosterone antagonist. They are used in resistant hypertension or primary aldosteronism. Then there is a stepwise escalation. So patient is initially started on one antihypertensive, which may be a beta blocker, a calcium channel blocker, ACE inhibitor, ARBs. If the BP does not get controlled, then we add one more antihypertensive. And if the BP is still not controlled, then we add third antihypertensive or 3-drug combination is used. And if the BP is still not controlled, then we add spironolactone on the top of it. Now there are certain compelling indications. So there are certain conditions in which a particular preferred antihypertensive should be used. For example, in a patient with diabetes mellitus, ACE inhibitor and ARBs are preferred. Number 2, in a CKD, ACE inhibitor and ARBs are preferred. Number 3, in a patient with heart failure, ACE inhibitor, beta blockers and diuretics are preferred. Number 4, in a patient with post-MI, ACE inhibitor and beta blockers are preferred. Then in pregnancy, labetalol and methyl dopa is preferred. And finally, in elderly individuals, calcium channel blocker and diuretics are preferred. Patient compliance is a key in determination of success in a patient with hypertension. Thank you.